Hello students, this is the course instructor Prof Jin Kook Lee for the UCS Understanding and Creating Space. Here is the topic this week, Industry Standard. You already know what's the floor plan of the building, how to represent building's interior structure or some layouts or your location of your interior elements, furniture, and so on. So that kind of things are any type of design visualization, design representation, as we learned last time. Okay, there are many different styles. Sketch, even your oral text or oral speech about your design, interior space, they are all design representation, and very complicated computer 3D model and so on. Lots of things. But industry standard means it's kind of de facto standard. De facto standard means it's not actually officially in a law, not standard, but we believe in they are standard because industry use them. Okay, so there is industry standard. What are they? In Korean, they are here. In Korean, they can be represented like this way. Okay, in English, floor plan, elevation, section, they are so-called industry standard. So they are basically drawings, but my focus is actually 3D modeling, 3D information modeling. About what? About building. That is why building information modeling, in abbreviation BIM, is one of the important concept, important theory you need to take a look at, but later on we are going to deal with in the rest of classes, specifically in my classes. Anyway, in this class we need to take a look at some detail about industry standard. So I prepare lots of slides and the lecture video, even from the last class and so on. So I edited, prepared, so you need to carefully look at them and move to the exercise, lab exercise. Okay, quickly bring your attention using this one, the Karim Rashid definition about design I showed you at the beginning of the class, and my favorite design definition, Professor Chuck Gestman's definition. And also I introduced you this one last time, Walter Gropius, who's the founder of Bauhaus, Dream Design School, Dream Architecture School, around 100 years ago at Germany. In the big tide of modernism thing, we are actually living in modernism. Okay, postmodernism or any other alternatives that kind of terms architect or some theory researchers say they are some certain type of dialect, certain type of alternative from modernism. In a nutshell, all of them are still modernism. Anyway, we are living in modernism world, and this one opens modernism, so it's meaningful, it's important. They declared ultimate goal of all fine arts, all art. Anyway, all they are supposed to be in building design, architecture. We are in interior architecture and built environment. So we are going to deal with architectural spaces. Most of spaces are built environment. All they are interior spaces. We need to bring our attention how to deal with such interior architectural spaces. So I put emphasis on the differentiation between art and design. We are in design, not art. Okay, so in that perspective, in that context, you need to take a look at some of my given lecture series, and even if they are very simple, the exercises. Okay, so this page, as always, in my slide at the sort of front side of the slide, will show you what to do. Okay, what to do in this week. I actually put the term week, but hopefully you can finish up this one as soon as possible, okay, ASAP. In other words, one of my favorite word, proactive. This is my one of the favorite keywords, especially for students. Okay, let's take a look at inactive. What is inactive? Immobile, not moving, do nothing. Okay, this is really not good. Okay, you don't need to be inactive. You don't. Okay, how about reactive? You know what? Most of students, most of people are reactive. So this is not bad. This is okay. But I prefer proactive. Okay, not, of course not inactive, but beyond reactive. Okay, reactive means if you got some stimulus, if you got some request, you do something, okay, against that request. That's most people's behavior. But I told you again, I prefer proactive. Proactive means, pro means doing something before that happens, okay? So what if you postpone all these material until the deadline? For example, this week's deadline is May 19th. So you're gonna take time at this day, every Wednesday night. That's not good. You're gonna missing some details. You're gonna miss some important things that I want to show you or prepare to you. So again, I like to put more stresses, more emphasis on this one. You need to be proactive, okay? In other words, simply take all these material one by one right now, today, and tomorrow, after tomorrow, if you have window, if you have some extra time, you can retake this one, or you can take a look back what you have learned, something like that. Or they are not that complicated. You don't need to calculate very complicated mathematics problems or something. Just take a look at, and then the final question can be done this day. That's okay, that's fine. But my point is, be proactive, okay? You can finish up all this material just today. That's my point. And don't forget to take a look at the lessons learned from the last week, the summary from the last week, okay? And also, let me quickly open this one in the 3 standard for this week. This is scheduled, okay? The time I take this video lecture, this one still unopened because it's scheduled, okay? It's not May 13th. Anyway, take a look one by one. Take a look, different icon 3, lab exercise assignment. Here, this is the one you need to submit your assignment, okay? Under this tab, you can submit what you have done for the lab exercise this week. Not complicated, not time consuming, not laborious thing. Very easy to do thing, okay? And reading assignment, the same as last time, but this week, it's not that complicated or long. Very interesting material, I think. It's not a research paper, it's not a really hard to read material or something. It's easy to read something. Question at the final, you can finish up, okay? 2 days left. Let's take a look at what you have done. Only 7 students turned in, okay, those pictures. It's really easy. Just take the video, lecture video, lab exercise video I prepared about taking pictures, interior architecture design pictures, specifically for interior spaces. Many students submitted, but still more than 40 students remained. So this is not proactive things. Students already submitted. I believe they all proactive, okay? You need to be proactive. I hope, okay? Anyway, this week you can take this one by one, okay, and hopefully finish up everything at least before weekend or something. And the final project, we have more weeks remained, but no worries. I don't want to make you overburdened, okay? Not a big project waiting for you, okay? Instead, you need to take a look at lab exercise weekly based. And then, naturally, your final project going to be established on consciousness, okay? You don't need to take more account on what is the final, how to do that final. You don't need to be overburdened, okay? I'm not that kind of person, okay? If you proactively follow my instruction, lab exercises, lecture series, weekly by weekly, and then you can finish up final project, okay? No worries. Okay, take a look at rest of the lab rest of the lectures, and some flip learning lecture video even from the last semester, last class, and then moving on to the exercise. Okay, carefully look at the video I prepared. Okay, no problem. Not that hard to do. I'm 100% sure. Okay, just be proactive. Okay. The topic of the week I mentioned before, industry standard, okay? For the flip learning video, at the beginning of this one, I'm going to show you architecture example. I know you already have watched a lot of architectural designs and some actual projects, but for bringing your attention to industry standard things for designing, I'm going to show you some real-world example. Instead, I told you, very famous, because it's going to be your dormitory, your dorm building. I'm not sure how many of you students are now staying in this building, but this building was near buildings. They are sort of our dormitory building at Songdo campus. I went there a couple of times and I stayed a few nights when our university has had some kind of events or something, education or some training events at mostly at vacation. Anyway, faculty members of Yonsei University also stayed at this dorm some days while you are absent. I mean vacation. Anyway, this building is supposed to be your building nowadays, but due to the situation, global situation, I know most of you are staying at home or some other places, but hopefully we'll get occupied this building soon. I'm going to show you this architecture example. At first, I show you this one, sketch. Take a look. It's a real sketch, hand drawing sketch. I'm not sure the concept of this one, but obviously it looks like some kind of huge mass object. But take a look. What if this mass was something like this? One piece of mass, one chunk of mass. That's not that interesting, right? But what if the architect designed something like this small sized or high rise or some totally different shape? In that case, some efficiency or some economical problem possibly happened, right? But this is too boring, right? It's too much simple and kind of classic, old-fashioned modern building. So architect's intent was something cut of the mass here, and something inset, and something divided, and so on, from this chunk of mass. I'm not talking about the concept or some approaches. I like to show you the actual example, actual dormitory. You're supposed to be here anyway. Next thing is site plan. I showed you sketch, but actually this is not sort of industry standard. Okay, site plan, actually this is one of the industry standard drawing. At the beginning of the drawing representation, site plan helps people understand the building mass. Take a look. Two long rectangle shaped and their connection, and two bridges and some cuts, something like that, some insets anyway. So thanks to site plan, we can find out building's mass. Another one is surroundings. So two main things we can get from this kind of site plan view. Take a look, surroundings. Some court for the basketball, I'm not sure, and some kind of gardening, landscaping, and some access road or some certain type of outdoor facilities. I think this is bicycle rack. I think these are bicycle rack or something similar structure. Anyway, site plan is one of representative industry standard drawing. It's under the category of plan drawing, but this is site plan. The most important thing and most representative thing is floor plan. Take a look, this floor plan. Usually this one, wall, of course, and take a look, this one, column, but mostly structural column. Structural column has load bearing and it has obvious function for sustaining this building structure. Anyway, columns, walls, and take a look. You know what are these? Of course they are stairwell. Another important thing from this kind of stair, as well as, take a look, what's this? This is elevator. Those things are vertical penetration. You know what this means? Penetration means it's opened. For example, what if this is kind of slab, concrete? Penetration is here, okay? You can go up, go down by using stairs or elevators or even ramp or escalators, right? This is slab. Floor. Physical, actual floor, usually concrete. So this concrete structure mostly covered, but something opened. That is vertical penetration. Why we need this vertical penetration? Of course, for vertical access or vertical circulation. For accessing floor by floor, we need vertical penetration, and we usually call it building core. Building core. So this building has a lot of vertical penetrations and cores. Why? This is really huge, actually not that huge, but relatively big sized building, right? So in certain architecture law, architecture code, so-called building code, in Korean, this one, because of building code, we have some kind of minimal placement for this vertical penetration or elevators, number of elevators, number of stairs, or even number of toilets on each floor, something like that. They are all regulated by this kind of code. Anyway, my point is take a look this kind of professional floor plan. You don't exactly know what this kind of representation, what this kind of symbol means. But you know what? Even professional architects cannot figure out 100% of plan drawings from others. But they know best practices. The meaning of best practices similar to experiences. So, what's the difference between you or me and experts? Expert architectural designers, architectural planners, interior designers, whatever. What's the difference? This one, okay? They know a lot of best practices. Actually, in Korean, I can say this one. I'm not sure, but this term is similar to this one, best practices. And also this one, same, right? The difference between you and I and someone else here means experts. They know best practices. They have a lot of experiences. But you and I, we don't have experiences, right? That is why we cannot figure out those symbols. But no worries. This is just symbol. They are just kind of metaphor for representing floor plan in sort of professional way. I told you, even expert, even world famous architects, they cannot figure out totally 100% of the meaning from this kind of floor plan. But they have amount of experiences, so they have best guess. That is why usually they can figure out, they can understand close to 100% of symbols, metaphors, and some representations, visualizations, anything represented on top of this kind of professional plan. Unfortunately, there is no regulation, something like this, how to visualize your floor plan. Okay? There is no such law or code or strict regulation. But there are best practices and experiences how to effectively represent floor plan views using hand drawing or computer tools, whatever, BIM tools, software, and so on. Okay, that's my point. Take a look. Fifth floor, I told you this is a dome building. So dome building means as many students possibly occupied. That's the top priority. If I'm not sure the RFP for this building, but usually we can imagine top priority is as many students as possible. Actually, I'm not sure this one was the top priority requirement for designing and constructing this building, but usually this is very important, right? So take a look. It looks like a cage or something, but it's not cage. Actually, when we see this kind of floor plan, it looks like very, very high density and not that good for residents. But in my experience, compared to other buildings, compared to other dormitories in other universities, this is really, really good building, okay? Really good. Trust me, okay? Relatively, really good, okay? Anyway, my point actually is showing you plans, representative floor plan, okay? Next thing is elevation. Take a look. Front elevation. Okay, I forgot. What's the main goal of floor plan. It shows you layout, okay, layout and a lot of something else can be possibly represented on top of this kind of floor plan. But you can imagine, you can easily find out the spatial allocation. In other words, layout, okay? So what's the main objective of elevation representation? Buildings, facade. This is French word, not English. Anyway, in Korean, same, facade, okay? Facade means in Korean, this is actually this one. Take a look. What kind of cladding system? You can find out the meaning of this one in dictionary. Cladding system simply means this one in Korean. Cladding and facade a little bit different. Cladding means something structure, something about material, something about shape or color. But this one is some overall image of the building. As you see, sort of very rectangle shapes in order and some kind of dark colored tile wall structure, wall surface, and something a little bit different lower places and something cut part and so on. So designer's intent was this one not going to be looks like something this one. Take a look. Just simple rectangle shape. It's boring, not that interest. But this one has this kind of cut and something above, something like this. Okay, something different from original mass shapes. Anyway, thanks to this elevation, we can easily find out the shape of this facade, image of the facade, and we can make some sort of best guess about cladding systems, material, or some kind of details, and so on. And also we can find out height. This one is dimension. You saw there, where's dimension? Probably dimension was missing from this floor plan view, but thanks to this one, elevation, we saw dimension. So thanks to this dimension, we can find out the length of this one is 5 meters. 5 meters. So something similar to this one, 5 meters. Okay, so we can think about the height of this building taller than 30 meters, right? Another elevation, right hand, left side, right side, and also dimension is here. You can also figure out the facade image and some cladding systems, looks or material and so on. So that's the reason, that's the objective of elevation representation. The last one is here, section. Section is very critical because section shows you this kind of vertical circulation and certain type of floor heights. Okay, take a look. In this elevation, we can find out the height of building, but actually it's not that easy to find out what's the floor height, what's the ceiling height, or something else. But thanks to this section, we can find out how many floors are modeled in this design and what's the height of the floor. And this is sort of plenum space. This is ceiling, this is the slab, okay? So you can find out let me show you. This is, it's not that easy to draw this one. This is ceiling height, and this is floor height. Again, this is so small, so let me carefully draw lines here. This is floor, sorry. Okay, let me erase. Okay, let me go back. Let me erase. Okay, I can't erase. I don't know why. Okay, let's do it again. The height of this one is ceiling height, and the height of this one, slab to slab, this is floor height. Thanks to section view, we can find out this kind of ceiling height, floor height, number of floors, some details about vertical penetration, vertical circulation, and so on. And also take a look. This is section -1, section -2, and take a look this key map. This is the section profile. Why this section profile needed? Of course, we don't know where it was cut, where to cut, or where the location of this section's line. So by using this kind of simple floor plan view, we simply draw those two or even more lines. So this line simply representing section profile and the location of this cut. Okay, next, also another section, take a look. At this time, this is sort of horizontal section line, and take a look. Thanks to this section profile, take a look. This is the location of this stairwell. Okay, stairwell. And take a look. In this stairwell, there is no slab extended, which means totally penetrated. And also take a look this one. This is also stairwell. Of course, there are some slabs, but between the stair rise by rise and kind of skipped floor level stairs, and this stair, sorry, this slab actually for stairwells slab, not the floors. Okay, this is slab. In other words, floor, concrete floor, and in terms of building structure, this is slab. Okay, and take a look. What's this? This is beam. Okay, in Korean it is this one. And take a look this one. I'm not sure. This is column. Okay, column and beam, they sustain this building because they are sort of very important structural elements, as well as those slabs. Okay, slabs. The reason to show you the series of those images, professionally made some architectural plan representations, actually these are some kind of additional thing. In other class or next semesters, the drafting course, you are going to learn some kind of detailed things about those symbols and the structures or some representation or something. Actually, they are not that critical. I mean, not that hard to learn. That is why I additionally introduce you what these mean by. But my point here actually was I like to show you industry standard representation of building. What are they? Simply say plan, elevation, section. That's all. Only three. In Korean, this is industry standard representation of building. But you know what? I told you there is no strict regulation or building code law about this one. This is sort of de facto standard. De facto standard means they are not governed by international standard organization, I mean ISO or UN, OECD or something else. They are not governed by some official organization or some kind of groups, members, something. Instead, in actual industry, reflecting to people's experts' experience, I told you today, very professional, another keyword, best practices. According to their best practices in industry, they are something close to standard. That is de facto standard. In Korean, something like this. Probably, okay? If you didn't provide something like this, you are not going to be in jail or something. You are not violated some law or some international code or something. But this is de facto standard. So we usually provide our client using those images, as well as when you get some kind of building permit, we need to prepare those things. If you have amount of money and you want to build your own high-rise building, or if you want to construct your own structure building, any type of building, and donate to Yonsei University, that's supposed to be allowed by our government, Korea government. That is building permit, okay? You have to request the building permit, and then you're gonna be asked to prepare those 3 documents set, okay? That is why I show you this one. So reason for showing you this example is what kind of industry standard drawings are usually represented and what kind of information they have. That was the topic, okay? Next example actually is interior design and construction example. As an extended example from the last time, I'm going to show you another H University interior design case. Actually, in Korea, unfortunately, interior design usually integrated into construction. In other words, of course, there are some interior design companies, but mostly they are interior construction companies. They are doing their interior design job as well in their actual projects, because interior design usually it's not a big project, okay? Especially commercial or educational buildings, the size of the project is not that big. So usually construction company accepted and gained their new interior construction project. In the meantime, they provide interior design. It's sort of old-fashioned and something undeveloped manner. It's not a advanced style. But anyway, the example I like to show you here is the real world, I mean some very commonly found case example in Korea. And also this is kind of actual real world case, especially in university campus. So probably that is why it's not that good case or good example to show you, but I told you this is an extended version example from the last time. Take a look at first, demolition. So this is the actual site of this interior design. So it's relatively huge space. If you think about this is university building, and actually sort of unfortunately my floor, okay, my office was something behind this scene, okay. So in front of my office, that kind of huge open space going to be newly constructed as student mini library. So for doing this one, someday the construction guys coming to this place and they made this demolition, removal, actually partial removal, and they stopped by my office and they asked me what kind of design, what kind of color, what kind of material going to be constructed or installed. They keep asking me, and I also, that was not my intention, but anyway, I was involved in this interior design project, so I joined, and that's why I have a lot of pictures, actual pictures, and want to show you. But let me quickly show you. Take a look. This is the location of the ceiling. It used to be, but I told them we are going to create open ceiling. Open ceiling means do not install ceiling structure. So what is this? What is this? This is slab, okay, concrete slab. What is this? This is beam. In Korean, it's this, okay. And somewhere here there are columns, okay. So basically, buildings structure is something like this. There are columns, okay. There are columns like this. Another column here, and there is another concrete on top of those two columns. This is beam, this is column, okay. Thanks to this very, very strong column and beam structure, relatively thin concrete can be loaded on top of it. Of course, there are some more columns and beams, right? More columns, more beams, and then this slab can be loaded on top of this structure, okay. So this is so-called in Korean, this one, university buildings, office buildings, concrete buildings, usually in this structure, but not your apartment. Your apartment has something different structure. Anyway, this is very commonly found structure of our university buildings or office buildings or some kind of mid-rise buildings and so on. So thanks to this removal, we could see this structure, and then I could introduce you something like this. So take a look. These are some electrical systems and mechanical systems. It's air conditioning, right? Air conditioning system. And take a look, some construction process. All these are non-load bearing, which means in Korean, this one. Okay, that means they are almost close to partition walls, partition structure. That is why it's not that thick. But for the soundproof and some kind of minimal strength for maintain issues, anyway, something infill or something exterior fill, they constructed using appropriate material and the structure like this way. And also new installation of this kind of mechanical system. Okay, next picture, another mechanical system, and inside the structure of this wall, non-load bearing partition walls. A lot of partition walls are here for separating the meeting rooms, okay, meeting rooms. Mechanical systems and workers, actual field, desk, field floor. And take a look, this is laser line drawer. So why they need this one? They wanna measure very precisely calculated or measured height. Sometimes they need to install certain type of different material, or they need to draw something or install something. Anyway, for construction reason, nowadays they use this kind of laser thing for drawing this one. This is laser line, and this used to be my office, okay, my office. When I was working in my office, I saw this laser line, so that's why I could take this picture at the time. Laser line here. Okay, anyway, some interior fields for this kind of frames before installing the storefront, the curtain wall, glass system here. And take a look, some finished details. The former cases or some other example, I couldn't show you this level of detail. Take a look, rails, okay, rail lights, down lights, all LED based lighting system they installed. And I told you this is open ceiling. I requested them to make this ceiling structure as open ceiling. But take a look, open ceiling used to be looks like this one. Actually, it's not that good. So take a look why this one is looking okay. We used some spray. In Korean, it's something like this one, okay. That's kind of field term, okay. Thanks to spray, we could paint. Actually, it's not a paint. Totally dark black color. So at that time, my color code was black and white. Something dark and something bright. Very contrary color scheme. But anyway, this color is so-called safe color. You know what? At that time, when I was in charge of this kind of color scheme and material for this kind of designing details, I choose very safe way. You know why, right? What if I used green, red color, or some very orange color, or some rainbow colors, whatever? if I used that kind of colors, probably someone could dislike it, really dislike it, even though some people very love them. So that is why I'm saying black and white, and they called so-called safe color. And the final output also looking not that bad. Looks, I think that was really great. Anyway, thanks to this kind of safe color, black and white coding color scheme, take a look, this kind of detailed installation and some meeting rooms, student meeting rooms in there, and take a look, this floor material. Actually, this kind of floors are usually not used in university buildings. But thanks to this wood looking floor material, it looks not that cheap. It even looks expensive. Okay, so at that time I told you dark or bright. In other words, black or white was my concept. So I used this kind of thing. Take a look, this frame color, dark, black. Take a look, this floor, dark. This side floor also dark. But wall colors or some lighting colors or this kind of additional things, all they are in white or very bright colors. So as built, take a look. How about this? This is open ceiling, but dark colored. That is why it's not that visible. So we can hide some systems, mechanical systems, electrical systems, plumbing systems, and so on. Instead, those white colored lightings are very saliently looking, something like this. So they are looking okay and good. There are rails. Okay, so take a look this structure and the scene. I'm not talking about this is really good design case, good example for new interior design or very fascinating or something great interior design case. The reason to show you this one is interior design usually integrated into interior construction. So take a look, there is no actual floor plans or design representation for this interior. Instead, I could show you this amount of actual pictures like this. Even this kind of thing designed by me and someone else. Graphical design, screen, window, printed, fonts, texts, all they have been designed by someone like me. Okay, some duplicated pictures here. Anyway, even if you don't like this design, or some of you may like this design, this is, I told you, mini-sized library for department students, for college students. So eventually, this design was really successful. Many students are enjoying this space for studying their assignments or spending their spending their additional some spare times or something, and totally open. This is corridor. This is the library space, but I make this space very clear, translucent. Translucent means transparent. Okay, so some people told me that if this is translucent, totally transparent, probably occupants, I mean students, they not that gonna be staying, they don't wanna stay this place even if this is library because of some kind of transparency or something. But contrary to that opinion, result was really successful. students enjoyed this kind of transparency because they, I'm not sure the reason, but probably you may know why, okay? They abandoned their privacy, but they could keep focusing on what they are reading, what they are writing, what they are doing on this desk, library desks. Because someone is watching here. Someone is watching here. Someone could be watching me. So that encouraged them to keep working, I think. That's my roughly made decision, roughly made conclusion. Okay, never mind. Anyway, this is roughly made my interest in the same place. Take a look at this structure. This structure is here. Okay, this one, this structure. Something different, but at the time I designed using 3D tool, something like this, and reflection from that window. You can see the backside scenes as well.